Women of Reddit, what do men do that they think is okay but is actually creepy? You're cute when you're angry.
You're thoroughly unattractive when you're condescending. Where's my hug?
If you have to force a hug, you don't have a hug level relationship with that person. Oh man, there's a guy at every job like that. I had a male co-worker who asked me this every day. I was young and insecure, so I always just went with it. I'm glad I finally put my foot down and said no at the end. Christ, dude here, but that crap makes me cringe like a motherfucker. I usually hear this from dudes who think they're being slick or not like those other guys while staring down a woman's cleavage like they're trying to pick a fight with her tits. And then when you try to go in for a quick one, you get
"That's not a real hug. I want a real hug."
My favorite part is when you say you won't hug them and they act all offended like you wronged them somehow. Saying anything along the lines of "you're perfect" upon minutes of meeting. My old boyfriend would put me on a pedestal constantly, always telling me how perfect I was, telling me he loved me way too fast, saying I was going to get tired of him and he's not good enough, blah blah blah. Told me all that right up until I walked in on him cheating on me. I think it's an insecurity thing. Obviously I wasn't and am not perfect, so perhaps when I inevitably let him down or showed the tiniest flaw, he became disenchanted in what he built up in his mind so much and then he had to cheat. Or at least that's my take on it. Wow, you are so different. You're not like other girls when you just met online and have talked for maybe a day tops, LMAO. I have a large tattoo on my shoulder, and I've had several men come up from behind and move my tank top strap and bra strap to see it better. It's been mostly in grocery stores and Lowe's of all places.
What the frick?
Touching without permission is bad enough, but to move clothing to expose more skin? I'd like to believe your average guy does not think this is okay. I sure as frick don't. I have sleeve on my left arm and it happens to me more often than you'd think. I'm also a chubby male with average looks. People are weird. I am female, and I have little sack boy from Little Big Planet on my shoulder blade. I wore a backless dress one night and a random dude tried to sneak up and lick lick some random chicks back on the street. That hassling you for a date because you don't have a boyfriend is not okay. But you don't have a boyfriend. The point is, dude, I'd rather be single than date you. Take the bloody hint. I've never understood this mentality. I've seen guys do this. As a guy, I can't imagine trying to fight past a no. I don't care what the reason is. If I ask you out and you say any variation of no, I'm just going to call off the whole thing. But you don't have a boyfriend. And what does that have to do with you, my guy? Like single girls are just waiting for anybody to ask them out. Yikes. They respect the idea of another man's property more than a woman's autonomy. My wife had a boss that would come up behind the ladies and start giving them shoulder massages. Not cool, dude. We had a teacher doing this on every student when I was in uni. Gender didn't matter, but it was so crappy cause he did a rape smile every time he massaged someone. We had a teacher who did this when I was 14. Also lifted a girl's boob up during a discussion about hygiene. I think to make a point that you should wash under there, especially if you have bigger boobs. He got fired. Turns out he wasn't even a teacher. When I am walking down the sidewalk, follow me slowly in a car while trying to talk to me. I freaking hate this. I will absolutely take a cat call from across the street any day rather than this vehicle nonsense. Cat calling makes me feel generally uncomfortable, but slowly following me in a car until I respond makes me feel downright unsafe. Wrong out of a possible 10. Putting their hands on your thigh or back casually while talking to you. If I'm being friendly, it's not a signal for you to touch me. Far too many co-workers, creepy uncles, etc. find this okay, especially when they act super defensive with their hands up like okay geez. When you tell them not to, they would feel just as offended if another man did it to them. I don't have air in my car, but it's so hot where I live, so my windows are always down. When I come to a red light, men try to talk to me from their vehicles and it makes me wildly uncomfortable because I obviously can't get away. If you have electric windows, take great enjoyment in closing the window on his side at the perfect moment. Just as he starts to talk, you can either watch him silently as it closes, or strictly remain looking forward the whole time. Block an exit while trying to start a conversation. Just don't do it ever. God yes, a month or so ago I had an incident at a gas station late at night where a man catcalled me. I rebuffed him and he responded by walking over to my pump and trying to talk to me while blocking the driver's side door of my car. I kept telling him I wanted to leave and he kept telling me that I was free to go and nobody was keeping me there when he was literally blocking my only exit. A guy started dancing with me on the dance floor at a club and me and a friend left for the bathroom. She grabbed my hand and led me away, and he grabbed my other hand. She kept a tight hold and so did he. So I'm stuck like Jesus on the cross in a packed dance floor because this creeper didn't want to lose sight of me. I was a half second away from stepping on his foot and elbowing him in self-defense mode before a random girl grabbed my arm where he held me and wrenched his grip away. I didn't have time to thank her before running into the crowd, but she saved me big time. If a girl wants to leave, freaking let her. She either wants to get away or will come back. And if she wants to come back and you're creepy like that, guarantee you she freaking won't. When strange men approach me and start asking personal questions like we're on a first date. Honest question. As a socially inept person, I'm often told that a good conversation strategy is to ask the person about themselves. How should I make sure I'm not doing this? Just don't do it literally out of nowhere. If you have never even seen this woman before, there are literally zero appropriate personal questions that you can ask her without her being creeped out. If these questions come up in conversation, with context, and the discussion of this topic is initiated by her, then you're good to go. Otherwise, keep it very casual and ask open-ended questions, and make sure to actually listen to her responses. When they walk behind you, they either touch your lower back or give your shoulders a squeeze. Those things are only okay for my husband to do, no one else. It isn't cute or endearing. It's extremely uncomfortable to deal with and makes women avoid you or cringe when you're near. My workplace is mostly men. There are 3 women and approximately 25 men. I used to bring in homemade baked goods a lot. Pumpkin bread, brownies, cookies, s'mores bars and the like. I enjoy being in the kitchen. It's a nice gesture to share. One guy started drawing me borderline inappropriate Minnie Mouse drawings. Not done well. Traced images but with small changes like her bloomers too short. Weird to explain. I'm the exact opposite of a person you'd think would like anything Disney related, let alone sexy Minnie. He said he drew them to thank me for the treats. I stopped bringing in treats, which resulted in everyone else questioning why I quit baking. Very awkward all around. Honestly, I would tell them, because creepy guy kept giving me pervy, poorly drawn Minnie Mouse fan art whenever I'd bring something in. Exactly. Tell them the cause and nothing more. They'll find out who it is eventually and deal with it. If my source of free baked goods dried up because of a creepy co-worker, overnight I'd become a company Gestapo and start walking around with a billy club. Excuse me, but the frick? I've come across a few men who don't seem to understand that I have a boyfriend means I'm not single and I don't want to be pursued or flirted with. I tell guys I'm married and it still doesn't always stop them. One guy even replied with "You happy?"
One asked if my husband eats me out.
I eventually figured out it is more effective to just say you're not interested in them. I thought for ages that I have a boyfriend was a nice way to point out maybe they're interesting but I'm not available to even consider it. But enough people saw that as a challenge that I switched to nope, not interested. Tell you to smile. It used to make me really uncomfortable. Now I just grin maniacally at them. My standard response is a deadpan. I am smiling. My co-worker walked in one day and said smile. I said, say something funny, and he got really embarrassed, maybe a little offended. Yes, this, likely, all inclination I had for smiling the rest of my day is now done. Also, my vagina has just made a Windows shutdown noise. Congratulations. Follow you around while you're out, because they want to keep talking to you after you've already made 2 attempts to end the conversation. A guy who sat next to me on a plane and wouldn't stop talking to me, even after I put on headphones. Tried to walk me to my connecting flight even after I refused to give him my phone number. He finally left when I went to the women's restroom. Grabbing my wrists. It is a huge ultimate frick no. The frick? Is this a thing? Why? Wrist control allows you to manipulate the arms and upper body. I'm talking about grappling wrestling by the way, so I guess when you apply it to a real life situation you're kind of controlling a person. Thinking it's okay to send dick pics by way of introduction. Maybe I'll want to see it at some point eventually, but try saying hi first. Edit. To clarify, I do not want a dick pic eventually. Maybe I'll want to see it in real life eventually, but not if you start with a dick pic. DMs.
Hey.
I'm not interested.
Frick you stupid biatch.
Gay men who grope you and say it's okay. I'm gay and not attracted to women, and also step the frick off my dress, Mary, and keep your fricking hands to yourself like a normal gay person then. Consistent pursuit. My senior year of high school, a junior guy kept pursuing me. We were in an Algebra 2 class together and had after school practices for theater. This was my first year in any production. My goals that year were to try something new and maybe make some new friends. Enter junior. It started off as friendly conversations. Things we had in common. He was nice and funny, but not my type. There was no spark for me. He asked me out. I said no. He was polite about my rejection and I figured we'd be friends. About 2 months into the school year, he said that he was having a bunch of the cast over for a party that weekend. Sure, who doesn't like a party? When I got to his house it was just him, his family, and me. I thought I was early. No problem. I sat in the living room and we talked. 15 minutes later I texted a friend and told her to call me ASAP and fake an emergency because my gut felt off. By the time she calls, I've been there about 35 minutes. His mom is almost done cooking dinner. No one else has shown up. And his dad had made a passing remark about his son bringing such a nice girl for dinner. That was the official red flag. I knew Julia hadn't invited anyone else over. I noped out of there saying my sister had locked herself out of the house and she needed my key. I ignored him as much as I could after that. One word responses when he asked me things. Minimal interaction during class and practice. He asked me out 3 more times that year, either oblivious or ignorant to my retraction. The last time was to prom and he knew I had started dating someone. He played it off as, oh no, I meant both of you come with me. Not a group, mind you, just him. I had to drop out of theater that spring due to a band conflict and it ended up being a blessing because it got me away from him. It's a tame example, but it still gives me the creeps when I remember him. I never understood this. You can't trick someone into dating you. I was going to ask why people think it works, then realized it's the plot of almost every romantic comedy. Thank you for watching. If you want to support me, check out my Patreon through the link in the description. If the video slapped, be sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe for videos every single day. See you tomorrow.